Okay, without more to do, I'm going to hand you over to Peter Gill, who is the founder and head of Graffeg Publishing. So Peter, over to you, please.
Morning, Terry, and welcome to you, Terry. And welcome to everyone else to our launch today of Terry's book, Wish You Were Here, the stories behind 50 of the world's great destinations. I'm Peter Gill, and we're publishers based in Wales, and we're delighted to have published Terry's book. With us today are family, friends, and colleagues of our guest author. Terry, a true consultant, educationalist, and commentator extraordinaire on world travel and tourism. We have ministers of state, directors of national and local tourism organizations, representatives from many tourism organizations and businesses. We're particularly honored and pleased to welcome Dr. Graffeg, the highly respected and much loved former Secretary General of the United Nations Tourism Organization, joining us from his home in Jordan. Over 25 different countries are with us for the launch for this book. Finland, South Africa, Wyoming, New Zealand, Korea, Brazil, Italy, Ireland, Spain, Slovenia, Croatia, Denmark, Germany, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and of course, from Wales. Terry and I started talking about a book some 18 months ago in 2019 and planned to launch it earlier this year in beginning of 2020. But of course, COVID arrived. And at the start of the year, we clearly had to delay the print copy of the book because there wouldn't be any bookshops open or distribution organizations and possibly not even customers to buy the book. But we continued with our publishing program, and we launched it as an ebook in April. And I'm so glad that here we are today with a print book in September. Terry's asked me to say just a few words of introduction. Really, the pandemic has touched all our lives in some shape or form. For destinations, towns, cities, and countries, it's affected the tourism industry severely. And in many locations, it's been a devastating experience and continues to be so. We hope that publishing this book of Terry's incredible first-hand experience over 35 years of working with you guys who run destinations worldwide, it will in fact help those rebuild confidence in the industry and allow the readers to dream about and begin to plan for holidays to those wonderful destinations when they reopen. So I first met Terry when we worked on a feasibility study to help Welsh Rugby Union redesign and redevelop a national stadium. And of course, it all came off and they built a world-beating venue. And that was an amazing experience. And we went on to do several other projects with us. And I've admired Terry greatly over these years for his professional skill and also his great company. Let me just say a few words about our guest author, Terry Stevens. Sorry, I've said that. Terry, I think that's about it, really. I mean, I can say a little bit, Terry established his tourism consultancy 35 years ago in 1986, and has worked, as you know, with many of you throughout the world. But in 2019, he was honoured and received the Lux Life Award for being the best destination development expert in the world, an award that's prompted this book. The Lux Life citation follows later in our event. And I've got a special announcement at the end of the program about something that's just happened, it's just broken today, actually, news about a further award. So without any further delay, I hand over to you, Terry, to introduce the speakers.
Good, well, thank you very much indeed. I'm just going to share the screen with you. and hope that you can all see this. It's incumbent on me to say a welcome to you all, and thank you very much indeed for joining us, everybody. Tourism is an industry of welcome. It's based upon people moving around the world to gain insights and share experiences in different places. We travel for difference. And of course, as Peter said, the industry has been devastated. It's interesting to reflect that in the history of mankind, for the first time ever in 2015, we had 1 billion international tourist arrivals, making tourism the largest economic sector in the world and employing more people than any other sector. And all the predictions were that by 2025, there were going to be 1.6 billion international arrivals. But we all know what happened in February and March of this year. And it's a human tragedy. It goes well beyond statistics. It's about economic carnage. It's about challenging the way we think about tourism in the future. It's about respecting the fact that some of the things that have happened in the last 6 months, we were given warning of in the few years leading up to 2020. And indeed, Copenhagen produced a tourism strategy 2 years ago called The End of Tourism as we know it. And Patrick Torrent in Barcelona led an initiative called Better Places to Live, Better Places to Visit, to respect the fact that maybe we needed to reflect, review, rethink what was going on in this world of tourism. And of course, COVID is making us all do that. We have to take the opportunity to reconnect with the environment, reconnect in different ways with tourists, and rethink what we do at our destination levels. And the reason we need to do that is because we know the last 6 months have shown us that the tourist of tomorrow cares. They will care about the environment, they will care about the places they're visiting. You as tourists will care about and think much more about the destinations you will visit as tourists. So destinations need to be known for things that us as tourists care about. Not just for what they do differently, not for doing good things, but for what we care about. And we're already seeing a new language emerging in tourism. The World Tourism Organization is saying trust is the new norm. Destinations need to be admired, desired, loved, managed, respected, safe, secure, and trusted. And the same is true as us as tourists. We want our voices to be heard. We want to be respected as tourists. We want more advice. Perhaps we want to be better managed. And maybe we want to be seen to be invited to visit a place. There's only 2 rules in tourism for those of us involved in the industry. Rule 1 is we always have to give you, the tourist, great experiences. Rule 2 is that we should never forget rule 1. So Wish You Were Here is not a book about the volume and value of tourism and destinations that have been driven by success statistically. They're all about destinations who do things well, do things competently, do things in a consistent way. And it's not just my opinion, there is supporting evidence. We have benchmarked, as a company, we have benchmarked over 100 destinations around the world using 55 different criteria. And the destinations I've selected to go into this book are all at the top of these graphs. They're all there because they do things well. And the reasons they do things well is that there is always a great team of people behind the destinations. Great teams and individuals and leaders who are driving vision and strategy and difference and change. And it's their stories I want you to hear today. The book is a celebration, not of my work, but of the work that these people have done. It is these people that consistently give you, the tourist, great experiences. People working in destination management organizations, people running businesses, people creating new opportunities for us to enjoy travel. And travel will return, it will recover, it will regrow. And these people are the leaders of that change. These are the people that will see us through the recovery and ensure that there are great places for you to visit. So I thank them. I thank the people you're going to hear speak, all of those thousands of people whose jobs have been on the edge, who have allowed us to travel the world. Thank you. Thanks to Peter and his team and Joanna Rodriguez, the talented designer that led to the book that you see. But thank you. And special thanks to Anita Mendirata, a special advisor to the United Nations World Tourism Organization, to Peter Greenberg, who is the travel editor of CBS News, and to Sarah Freeman, journalist and travel photographer, all of whom have written parts of the book, contributed chapters to the book. Thanks to them. And finally, I would like to give my personal thanks to Dr. Taleb Refai, former Secretary General of the UNWTO, for his personal support and encouragement for me and being an absolute leader and inspiration to the world tourism industry during his reign as Secretary General. So that's enough from me. I would now like to hand over to the first of our speakers, who's going to be Willie Cameron from Loch Ness in the Highlands of Scotland. So Willie, if you'd care to unmute, he's a fine ambassador for the Highlands and for Scotland, and he is a hotelier who owns a company called Cobb's Hotels and Cobb's Bakery. So Willie, are you ready? Can I hand over to you, and can you unmute?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
You can hear me now, yeah. Anyway, many thanks, Terry, for inviting me here today, and Peter, to talk about my area, which is one of the featured destinations in Wish You Were Here. Terry and I have been good friends for many, many years and worked on various different projects. And the chapter is on page 137. It's Loch Ness in the Highlands of Scotland. The strapline is dramatic landscapes, captivating stories, and the mystery continues. The key words being dramatic, stories, and mystery. The whole book is about building a journey, your journey. A journey that handled properly will bring you great rewards. I trust in a small way that I can help you with this journey by taking you to my area. It's an area situated on the peripheral of Western Europe, an area like a diamond with many facets that create different emotions in different people. And hopefully, like myself, you never get tired of good emotions. You want to share them and arouse that love and interest with others. And to do that, you'll have to show everything at its best and show it with passion. My late grandfather, who was a grocer to trade here at Loch Ness in the Highlands, and he was an early aficionado in the needs of early tourists in the 1920s. He had a maxim that he always quoted, and that was, goods properly shown are half sold. A few years ago, at the invitation of Terry, I had the privilege of addressing the Welsh Cultural Conference in Carnarvon, and one of the guest speakers was Professor Hans Schouten from Holland. He listed the points the modern tourist was looking for at a destination, something that was interesting, something that was unique, meaningful. He was looking for good interpretation, imagination, and finally, a bloody good story. Ladies and gentlemen, we have it all. I give you Loch Ness and the Highlands of Scotland. Loch Ness is one of the largest visitor attractions in Scotland. It is 24 miles long, 750 feet deep, and almost 2 miles wide, and it contains one of the greatest myths and legends of the millennium. The Highlands of Scotland, Caledonia, Alba, North Britain, wild foreboding, as I said, in the periphery of Western Europe, a land once inhabited by hunter-gatherers, invaded by Vikings, settled by Pictish tribes, and developed under the clan system. A rich cultural heritage. The clown, in the Gaelic language, the children, the family, a land where the blood is strong. As I said it all, we have all here, strategically situated in the centre of the Northern Highlands, in what is known as the Great Glen, a natural rift valley created by the land splitting in two from the Atlantic Ocean off Mull to the North Sea off Wick, and where the ice melted 11,000 years ago, creating the various lochs of the glen, Loch Ness being the largest. Loch Ness in the nearby city of Inverness is a great base for travelling north, south, east and west. And we have developed a proven method to choose a list of visits. And this is done by creating a variety of concentric rings depicting a 1 hour journey from Loch Ness, a 2 hour journey from Loch Ness, a 3 hour journey that will enable you to appreciate the history, the culture, to understand the way of life of the Highlanders through the ages, from prehistory to today, the modern Highlands, where you can experience adventure, dramatic scenery, some of the finest, freshest food on the planet, an array of beverages from single malt whiskey to botanical flavoured gins to quench thirsting craft beers and ales. And also, in the words of Hans Schouten, some bloody good stories told by amazing characters in full traditional Highland dress if you want, accompanied by the music of the bagpipes, the lilt of a soft Gaelic love song, with the smell of a peat fire wafting over mysterious Loch Ness. In 1 hour from Loch Ness, you can be at Ben Nevis, the highest mountain in the United Kingdom. You can travel by gondola car up its sister mountain, Anachmore, where you can ski in the winter. We are also open all year round as a destination at Loch Ness. Going east, you can be at Culloden Battlefield, the last battle fought on British soil, 16th of April, 1746, and the end of the Jacobite cause. You can travel in the footsteps of Bonnie Prince Charlie over the sea to Skye, the Outlander effect in modern idiom. You can visit Cawdor Castle, made famous in Shakespeare's Macbeth. You can sail Loch Ness on the Jacobite cruise ships to Urquhart Castle, clasped, gripping on the shores of Loch Ness. You can walk the Great Glen from Inverness to Fort William, or you can do the 360 degrees walking round the loch. Glenafric Forest Park, which is the picture shown in Terry's book, a step back in time, walking through the great wood of Caledon, full of wildlife, from deer to badger to fox on the ground, buzzard, red kite, and the mighty golden eagle in the skies above. The original Last of the Mohicans was filmed here. You can visit a distillery, Thomason, Glenord, and Ben Nevis, all with 1 hour from my hotel here. The beach at the seaside town of Nairn, or a round of golf at the magnificent Castle Stewart golf course. Nairn was the town the great Charlie Chaplin had his holidays. If it was good enough for Charlie, it's good enough for you. You can go for a sail from the port of Inverness to go dolphin watching in the Murray Firth and cast your eyes over the strategic fortification that is Fort George, built to keep up as rebellious Highlanders at bay. As I said, we have it all. Within the 2 and 3 hours destinations, you can go further afield. John O'Groats on the tip of northern Scotland, Balmoral Castle, the Queen's residence in Scotland, and still be back for dinner at some of our amazing hotels and restaurants around Loch Ness and in the Highlands. Great self-catering and some luxurious exclusive use properties, of which there are many. Yes, we have it all here at Loch Ness. And that is before we even start talking about a certain elusive lady, which would take a lot longer than 5 minutes. So if you want to hear more, come and see me before or after you have done the 49 destinations in which you were here. Today, we raise our glasses and wish all success to Terry Stevens, Graffeg, Wish You Were Here, and my feature destination, the Highlands and Loch Ness. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Round of applause, I think. That was full steam ahead on Loch Ness. I think at the end of this hour, there's going to be at least 10 destinations that are going to be prioritized by our listeners. Willie, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Terry.
We're going to move now from Scotland to Slovenia. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Karmen Novarlič, who is Head of Department of Business Communications for the Slovenian Tourist Board. So Karmen, over to you, and I believe you're going to share your screen and show us some rather nice pictures of your home of Slovenia.
Hello Terry, hello Peter and everybody. Just a minute, I'm going to try to share, of course, my today's presentation. Just a minute. So, dear ladies and gentlemen, it's been indeed really my greatest pleasure to be able to present you one of the greenest and one of the safest countries in the world, Slovenia. So, I would like, in a way, to invite you to make yourself comfortable, to take a look of my today's content, relax and embark with me on an imaginative journey through Slovenia. So first of all, a very short information about the location of Slovenia, which has really a perfect Central European position in the triangle Venice, Vienna, and Budapest, a very accessible destination from near and long distance markets. Slovenia is a very boutique and a very diverse country, as it is really perfectly located between the Alps, the Mediterranean, the Pannonian Plain, and the Karst. So Slovenia is one of the greenest countries in the world, also in terms of nature. About 60% of our territory today, it's covered with forest, and over a third of the territory is protected. So Slovenia is also one of the safest destinations and is one of the first countries in the world also to have obtained the Safe Travels label on behalf of the World Tourism and Travel Council. But green and nature is also a perfect playground for active holidays to climb a summit or foot or by bike, feel the adrenaline in the underground world, or on the lovely skiing slopes. So we can say that all the best things in Slovenia happens outdoor. But ladies and gentlemen, let me present you also Lake Bled, a real image of paradise and one of the most beautiful alpine resorts in Europe. It has this marvelous little island in the middle where you can ring a bell, and as the legend says, that by doing so, you'll be impressed and blessed with years of happiness and luck. At the same time, you can also take a traditional Pletna boat to the island and enjoy this marvelous also view of the medieval castle. A bit further, not far from Bled, there is also Lake Bohinj with exceptional hiking and biking trails. And on the eastern part, on the western part of Slovenia, we do have also this beautiful Soča River with this emerald color, a perfect destination in a valley of action, energy, festivals, and discoveries. But let's move from the northern alpine world to the southern part of the country where the Mediterranean is based. So the Mediterranean coast is ideal for swimming, for sailing, for simply just taking a walk through the narrow medieval historic towns or the salt ponds as well. Slovenia is also very rich in cultural heritage. Everywhere you go, you'll be impressed by many historic towns, fairy tale castles, and festivals. But let me stop for a minute in Ljubljana, in our capital city, which is a colorful, a very vibrant city with excellent atmosphere. It is home to Jože Plečnik, one of the world-known architects in the world. Years ago, also, Ljubljana had a title of European Green Capital, which shows our sincere ambition to develop sustainable green tourism. When talking about culture, I had to stop also in Maribor, our second largest town on the northern part of the country, where you can also find the oldest grape wine of the world, more than 500 years old tradition. One of our cultural highlights of Slovenia is also the Lipica stud farm, which is existing still from the 50 and 80, with the noble and white Lipicana horses. But not only the Lipica, the stud farm, all our Karst region is really marvelous, having more than 10,000 caves officially registered. Let me point out Postojna, which is the largest underground system. Not far from it, also a stone's throw away is Predjama Castle, which is famous for being really the largest cave castle in the world, but also Škocjan Caves, which are listed on UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Slovenia in the last years is becoming also a top gastronomy destination, having foodies, as we say, very proud because next year we are holding also a title of European Region of Gastronomy 21. This year, Slovenia was also included on the list of the new destinations by the prestigious gastronomic guide, Michelin. We are very proud of it. We can say that gastronomy in Slovenia, having our world's best female chef, is definitely a 5-star experience. Last but not least, very shortly, on the eastern part of the country, we do have 14 spa resorts, which are very much connected and developing green, active, and healthy experiences for body, mind, and soul. So, dear ladies and gentlemen, to sum up very shortly, Slovenia is green, is safe, it's inspiring, it has very friendly people, and a very good quality of life. Thank you very much. Congratulations again for this marvelous new book coming out, and I wish you to spend a lovely hour all together. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Karmen. If you can stop screen share now, we can. Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. And interestingly, I was meant to be going on holiday with the whole family this summer to Terme Olimia, which was the last photograph you saw from Slovenia, but we had to cancel, so we will be there next year. Okay, from Slovenia, we're going to go to the city of Linz in Upper Austria and to Georg Steiner, who's the Chief Executive Officer of Linz Tourism. Linz, an interesting city in every respect, and a city that's completely regenerated itself over the last 30 years. It was an industrial city, but in 2018 was recognized by the World Tourism Organization as one of the top 15 city destinations in the world. So hopefully Georg will soon be in a position to share his screen with us. Brilliant.
Yes.
Okay.
Hello, Gerry.
Hi, Georg. Everybody can hear you, so over to you.
Hello from Linz. From the Danube, I hope you can see my screen. Just a moment. Is it possible? Is it?
You can see your screen, but you need to go to full presentation.
Yes, now?
That's it. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, now, first of all, let me say a congratulations to this wonderful book. We are very proud to be part of this network, and I will give you some information to Linz, a message of Linz. First of all, where is Linz? We are in Austria on the Danube River, in the heart of Europe. And yes, what is our vision? The story. What's our story? We inspire people and yes, change the world. Our brand. We have 3 pillars. The first of all is be human, and the second is arouse curiosity and recognize interrelation. And the slogan from Linz is "Say Linz, say change." We stands for tourism without cliches, and Linz stands for modern Austria, progress, vitality, and a vision. Linz had only industry and had the chance to be European Capital of Culture in 2009. You see this picture, this brand during 2009, and Linz has a modern and successful industry. The chimneys smoke, but the air is very clean. The success of Linz is based on quality of life, in social, in ecological, in cultural quality for the population, not only for tourists. Linz has a very modern cultural beacons, such as the largest concert hall between Nuremberg and Vienna, the Bruckner House, built 1974, Ars Electronica, I think the worldwide most known institution since 1979, the Höhenrausch, a very new and creative artistic project since 2009, since European Capital of Culture, the most modern music theater in Europe since 2014, or a Mural Harbor, one of the more interesting graffiti galleries in the world since 2015. Linz has a stable tourism organization, a corporation under public law, which is mainly financed by the Linz economy, but also by guests and the city. And the chairman of the supervisory board is a representative of the economic, Manfred Grubauer. He was elected 2010 and often re-elected, and I'm the manager. I'm here since 2007. I think we have a very high continuity in staff and management. It is one of the secrets of success in tourism in Linz, we think so. Locally and internationally successful, 50% of the overnight guests come from Austria, 25% from Germany, and 5% from China, but China is placed 2 in our ranking of international guests. Linz is very digital, Electronica, the art university, the tobacco factory with a lot of startups, and we have a very strong position in digital part in Europe and in the world. Linz is smart. We are honored with the award Cultural Heritage and Creativity as part of the European Capital of Smart Tourism. We won this prize 2019. And Linz is so UNESCO, honored with the award UNESCO City of Media Arts 2010. Linz is networked in tourism connections to twin cities, played just as important a role as the networks along the Danube. The Danube flows right through Linz. More than 2,000 cruise ships stop in Linz every year of Corona, I have to say. And Linz pursues the strategy that the Danube is not only shaped by the cliches of, Vienna, wine, Sissi, Johann Strauss, but that so-called hidden places are perceived more strongly. No longer we say on the beautiful blue Danube, we say on the beautiful multicolored Danube. This is the motto in Linz. Linz changes, this is a slogan that applies also to the philosophy in tourism. And yes, I hope you have some pictures, what is Linz, and a lot of information are part of the new book of Gerry. Wish you were here. Thank you for interest, and I wish the book great success in the tourism industry. I give back to Gerry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Georg, and regards to all friends in Upper Austria. If you can now stop sharing your screen, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay.
We're going to move on to Belfast, but one very quick story about Linz. When I first went there with Manfred Gruber, the chairman of the Linz Tourism, he said to me, we're going to have a half-hour walk around the town. And 3.5 hours later, we were still walking because everybody in the city knew him and wanted to talk to him and express a view about tourism in Linz. And to me, that's the sort of making of a great destination, is that close working relationship between the destination and its residents. Okay, we're going from Linz to Belfast in Northern Ireland. And I would like to introduce you to Gerry, the Chief Executive Officer of Visit Belfast. So Gerry, over to you, please.
Hi, Terry. Can you see that, Terry? Everything okay? Yeah?
Everything's perfect, Gerry. Thank you.
Good. Well, first of all, that's the first thing. As you know, Terry, technology is not my strong point, so I'm very happy that we've survived the first stage. Secondly, thank you so much for the opportunity to come and share the launch with you and to share our story of our tourism journey for the last 20 years, of which you've been a significant part. It's a story of transformation, unprecedented growth, but as you know, Terry, to use a colloquialism, we've had some crack along the way. And so I want to spend about 5 or 6 minutes just talking a wee bit about tourism, where we've come from, where we are, and how we're trying to deal with the new environment that we're in. Okay. I shared this image with you. It is a still from a video of interview, a BBC interview of the then chief executive of the Northern Ireland Tourist Board in the early 70s, who had the unenviable task of trying to sell tourism to Belfast and Northern Ireland during the Troubles in the 70s and 80s. Although the Troubles ended in the early 90s, relatively in the mid-90s, this perception, this image of Belfast particularly obviously had a legacy right into the noughties, where once we were discussed in the same breath as Beirut and Bosnia, we now are competing with Barcelona, Berlin and Bilbao for cruise ships, city breaks and conferences, to the point where now leading opinion formers in our industry, such as Lonely Planet, is saying that Belfast is the #1 place to visit in the whole of the world for 18 to 35-year-olds. National Geographic, over 45-year-olds, suggesting that Belfast is the rising star of city breaks within Europe. CNIT Forum magazine saying that Belfast is #1 conference destination with the #1 conference venue in Britain. And Disney, arguably the #1 family brand in the world, their cruise ship visited Belfast. So across all our demographics, across all our sectors, we are competitive, and we are gaining the attention of opinion formers. And that transformation, or that makeover of image, has an impact obviously on statistics and numbers. And I draw your attention to particularly the steepness of the growth from 2011 onwards, and that is in 2012, the opening of Titanic Belfast. And indeed, in the last 5 or 6 years, £250 million of private sector money has been invested in Belfast in building new hotels to cope with the 75% growth in out-of-state overnight staying visitors that Belfast has achieved in the last 5 or 6 years. Across any metric we care to use, our growth in the last 20 years has been unprecedented, but the most important one, of course, for us is tourism jobs, from 4,000 up to 20,000. The question is, what has driven this growth? And I'm delighted to hear that Dr. Graffeg is there. I don't know if he remembers visiting Belfast with you, Terry, about 10 years ago, and he shared his view that peace doesn't bring tourism, tourism brings peace. And I firmly believe that Belfast is a case study in that philosophy. The 4 key pillars of our growth have been political stability, obviously, but huge investment in our tourism infrastructure, huge improvement in our air access. Belfast is on an island in Ireland, off an island, GB, off a continent. So therefore, people can only get here by boat or fly, so access is important. But obviously then, we've got to consistently, just because you build it, just because there's peace, just because you can fly there, nobody wakens up one day and decides to come to Belfast. We have been consistently challenging the old images of our city and telling everybody about what there is to see and do in Belfast. Our role as a DMO, we are a public-private sector partnership between local government, central government and private sector, and we focus exclusively on marketing and visitor servicing, not on product development. And our core focus is the business tourism, leisure tourism, and day trips through cruise market. Where we were in the last, before COVID, and Terry was key to this in getting us into 4-year strategies, 4 and 5 year strategies, so that tourism wasn't an annualized budget, but we had a 4-year horizon where we were trying to get to. And we were well on the way to blowing our targets, 4-year targets, out of the water. Until then, the obvious happened. I'm not going to spend much time. Terry, you spoke at length about this, but the bottom line is you can see there room sales and you can see there air passenger numbers just stopped and just stalled. And the issue then for us is what do we do? And we're in that planning phase like everybody else, is how to deal with it. But I think you mentioned things earlier, Terry, and it's true, which is there are positives still lurking behind all of this. One is that people love to travel. People are curious about new destinations, and there's a latent demand for meeting up, for exploring places. Everyone's fed up with Zoom. Everybody wants to go. And the other thing is, the one positive for us is in a lot of this is that you only miss something when it's gone. And tourism is now, used to be a Cinderella industry for Belfast, Northern Ireland, is very much clearly in government's minds that the power and the economic impact of tourism. And so we're confident that once we get a way around this, once we get a way to work with this or learn how to deal with this COVID, that the things that attracted people in the first place are still valid, they're still there. We have a very new product, relatively speaking, and that we will be able to, if you look at our closer to home markets, focus on the island of Ireland, 7 million people. When you take in GB, that gets into 70, 80 million, and then Europe, 250 million. And using a quote from you from a time before, we focus on the chimney pots. So the issues that the things that attracted people to Belfast are still there. The culture, the arts, the food, the Game of Thrones, Titanic Belfast, the fact that we're a gateway to some of the most spectacular scenery in the island of Ireland. And those, coupled with the opportunity that we were having previous conversations prior to all this about climate change, about being sustainable tourism, ensuring there was inclusive growth. And we're taking the opportunity to rethink, reimagine, come back stronger, more resilient, greener, fairer. And these are going to be the iconic, or these are going to be the anchor elements of that plan. Titanic Belfast, the #1 visitor attraction in the world in 2016, one of 2 or 3 iconic visitor attractions on the island of Ireland, regularly attracting 1 million visitors a year. The important thing for us is that tourism has never just been about visitor numbers and visitor spend. Tourism, every cruise ship passenger, every conference delegate, every person that comes in a city break helps us on our political, societal journey, and helps us on our step towards becoming a European and cosmopolitan city. And the trend towards more authentic experiences matches up with our ambition to ensure that we have far more inclusive growth going forward. And what you see here are neighbourhood initiatives such as Coistia, political tours, the Connolly Centre. And these are the smaller tours, the smaller visitor attractions that are developing on the periphery parts of our city that will actually enrich and add to the city offering that we have going forward, in addition to the icons of City Hall, Queen's. Our local food scene and restaurant scene. Last year, Belfast in Northern Ireland won the best food destination in the International Travel Awards in London. The Game of Thrones, the phenomenal that is the Game of Thrones, which the last episode attracted 1 billion viewers across 170 countries worldwide. And planning permission has just been granted for a new visitor experience of the whole Game of Thrones theme. These are the anchor aspects of our product offering going forward. And of course, as I said, the gateway to the world renowned and the world winning Antrim Coast and Glens. Going forward,
Gerry, I'm going to have to ask you if you can get through it in about another minute. Is that okay?
No problem. Sorry, just going forward, tapping into the sense and the frustration that people have. These are some of the images, or these some of the nuanced marketing that we'll be pushing out at the right time. Belfast for real, encouraging people to come and experience now. They're fed up with the Zoom, they're fed up with online shopping and whatever. This is the new, slightly nuanced marketing that we will be pushing out when the time is right. Also, you mentioned earlier, Terry, the new style of marketing about trust and about empathy. And so Belfast is home for our visiting friends and relatives market, encouraging people to reunite with friends and family. And of course, then encouraging people just to get back into Belfast. So Terry, just on, sorry about that rattle through it, but hopefully that's given people about a feel for what has driven tourism to Belfast, how we see and are confident, despite the issues going forward, that we have cornerstone of an excellent product to compete going forward, but also why tourism is so important to us, not just about economics, but about our whole political, societal growth as a community going forward.
Great, lovely. Thank you very much indeed, Gerry. I'm sorry I had to sort of make you towards time.
You know, I can talk for Ireland.
If you can stop your screen share, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We're going to continue this journey of destinations with a trip now across to the States, to Wyoming. Gerry, sorry, can you?
Yeah, I'm trying to now.
And we're going to go to Jackson Hole in Wyoming and meet with Tim O'Donoghue, who's the executive officer of the Riverwind Foundation. Now, Jackson Hole has been a favorite benchmark destination for me, not just because of its extraordinary scenery and extraordinary location, but because of the way in which the destination has organized itself to put sustainability at the center of everything it does. So Tim, thank you very much for getting up. It's 4:30 in the morning with you. We appreciate it very much indeed, and look forward to hearing your story and telling us about Jackson Hole. So over to you, and if you can screen share, that'd be great. Thank you.
Great. And thanks, Terry. And obviously this is what coffee is for, right? All right. So thank you everyone for coming to this morning's launch of Terry's book, long-awaited book, Wish You Were Here. Thank you, Terry, for including Jackson Hole in the book and being invited to speak to colleagues and friends from around the world. Jackson Hole is named after Davy Jackson, the son of an Irish immigrant, so it's appropriate that we follow Belfast and Ireland presentation. Davy Jackson was a mountain man, explorer, and fur trapper in the early 1800s. And hole is the word that the mountain men used to describe a valley. They were up in the mountains most of the time, and then they dropped down into the valley or into a hole. So just a little bit about Jackson Hole and Teton County. Teton County is technically the political boundary of the destination that my organization is promoting and evolving the destination management of. So we're essentially 4,200 square miles in size. Approximately 98% of our land has some level of protection, with 97% of our land having its federal land, such as Yellowstone National Park, which was created in 1872. Then you can see all the other federal land units, if you will, that comprise Teton County. So Teton County includes Jackson Hole and the southern half of Yellowstone National Park here. The human aspects of our environment, our year-round population is 23,500, relatively unpopulated. But however, in the summer, we are somewhere between doubling and tripling our population in any given summer evening. So we have quite a bit of visitation, with upwards of 4 million people a year coming, with about 90% of those coming between June and September. So we're at the very end of our peak summer season. I'm working in the field of destination management, and one of the thoughts I'd like to leave with you is destination marketing is dependent on good destination management. If the destination's not managed well and the visitor experience is degraded because of things such as over-tourism, then destination marketing can be very difficult to do legitimately. And just as an FYI, we are still having the same level of visitation, especially in July and August, that we've had in years past. That's just the demographics have changed from an increasing, up to now, increasing amount of international visitation to a very little international visitation, obviously, and a lot of domestic visitation. We have visitors from all 50 United States that have been coming to Jackson Hole over the last 4 months since we reopened. And what you see here is basically the model that we've created that we're now sharing with other destinations that make up the Greater Stone region and elsewhere in the American West, based on our trial and error experience. So we were one of the 6 early adopters of the Global Sustainable Tourism Council's early sustainable destination criteria back in 2012. And we received for the first time ever from a third party a baseline assessment of how sustainable we were. And that began a more organized journey of our community to become what was essentially created, was a vision that was approved in 2017 by our local government to be a world-leading sustainable community and destination. So this all began with the GSTC's baseline assessment of us in 2012. And coming from that, in addition to creating our vision to be a world-leading sustainable community destination, we created a Destination Stewardship Council made up of 57 strategic stakeholders, and then a steering committee of 12 tactical stakeholders that have been guiding our program since we began in earnest in late 2013. And in the action plan, in summary, we do a lot of education and training of our local population, not just on the benefits of tourism, but also on what the principles and policies are of sustainability and how each of us as a resident, as well as a stakeholder here in our local economy, which is based on tourism, can do their part to promote sustainability within our community. So there's a lot of general public education engagement. We've used a number of tools to do that, and we've worked with over 300 businesses to provide training and technical assistance. We created our own local certification and recognition programs as well. And then just recently, we were certified as the first EarthCheck certified destination in North America this past March, 2 weeks before we shut down. And so where are we now? We're continuing to evolve our sustainability policy and gather the policies that exist in many different parts of our destination with the federal government, state government, local government, and the private sector as well. And in the process of finalizing our funding mechanism for further developing our tourism management plan, or in other words, our destination management plan, and then implementing the actions that are in that plan. So that's our in 5 areas that can be sequential or it can be slightly overlapping the process we've used since we became an early adopter in 2012. And then I just want to say a little bit about destination recognition and certification. It's important that along the way, which we've received recognition for the work that we've done in destination management. This is important to encourage stakeholders to stay engaged in what is a long journey toward more and more levels of sustainability. But also, it's an opportunity to leverage the recognition we receive in the awards that we've received to create further public engagement and education, and if you will, sustainability literacy in our community. And as I mentioned, we just received EarthCheck certification in March of this year. I just wanted to say that one of our challenges here is that Jackson Hole is at the southern part of the Greater Yellowstone region, which is the largest tract of undeveloped wilderness in the continental United States. We're the headwaters of 8 major rivers in the United States, and we have wildlife in diversity and abundance equal to what we had 150 years ago. There's been a lot of work to reintroduce species such as the wolves that have repopulated our area. So we have great numbers of wildlife. As I like to say, in Wyoming, we have a lot more 4-leggeds than we have 2-leggeds here. And when people come to visit here, they have an opportunity to see wildlife about what it was when Davy Jackson was here in the early 1800s. So our challenge is, how do we live in balance with nature as a human population that is very restricted in the area that we can develop, but yet we still have impacts. And that is the key goal for us, is to find that balance, define what the balance means, and then realize that balance through engaging public stakeholders. So the other thought I'd like to leave you with is, I really like what the previous presenter said about tourism brings peace. I really believe that to be true. And we really would like to invite everyone, when the opportunity does arise, to come and visit Jackson Hole, and hopefully agree with what Terry has said about Jackson Hole in his own visits. And Terry, one idea I'll leave you with is, maybe we ought to create a Wish You Were Here passport, where all the destinations that are in your book can be on that passport, and we can encourage visitors to come and experience our destinations, and maybe meet people like Willie Cameron and get inspired by our own destinations as well. So thank you very much, and I'll let go of the screen share.
Thank you very much indeed, Tim. Fabulous idea. I think the destinations that are talking today, I'm sure, would be up for that, together with the others in the book, and maybe that's something Graffeg might be able to pick up on, and we develop that aspect of as a result of this. Anyhow, just to let you know, we've got one more speaker, and that's Patrick Torrent, the Executive Director of the Catalan Tourist Board. And then we will quickly move on to 4 speakers who are just going to talk about destinations they would like to go to, having read the book. So without any more to do, please welcome Patrick Torrent, Executive Director of the Catalan Tourist Board. Patrick, welcome.
Thank you, Terry. I think it's a real pleasure to be here with you. Congratulations for this book. Congratulations for this project. Let me invite you to go directly to the 74 page. That is the article about Catalonia. And not only because it's a good presentation of our destination, but because it's a good reflection about some of the main challenges that the tourism is facing worldwide. In this part of the book, there is talking about different initiatives that have been developed from the Catalan Tourist Board and from Catalonia, related to different opportunities we have in order to improve the model of tourism that we are living in the world. And this pandemic, I think it's a great opportunity that offers us the option to recover through the transformation of our tourism model. And it's one of the main activities that we are developing from the Catalan Tourist Board now, working closely with the industry in order to rebuild our tourism, but in a better way than the last period, for example. Catalonia, you know, is probably one of the main destinations in Europe in terms of international arrivals. In the ranking, in the podium of in Europe, in international arrivals, is always Paris, Île-de-France, Catalonia, and Canary Islands. Catalonia last year received close to 20 million of international tourists coming from the main markets in Europe, but from all over the world. And that's why, okay, it's because especially our strategic situation in the northeast of Iberian Peninsula, in close to France, with a great and strong network of connections of international airports, thanks especially to our mild climate all year round, thanks to this fantastic infrastructure, thanks to our diversity as a destination. Catalonia is a country with 7.5 million inhabitants that receives in global more than 36 million people. And it seems that it's obviously hospitality is one of the main activities that we are developing in Catalonia. And everything in this small country, just 33,000 square kilometers, that represents this huge diversity in really small area. Small area, but really with a good diversity. In this map, you can identify 9 different tourism brands. Obviously, the first one is our capital, Barcelona. In the north, we have the area of Costa Brava, that is a fantastic area with secluded copse, with a real rugged coast, but with a particular gastronomy and a strong culture. In the surrounding the city of Barcelona, we have the landscape, the hinterland of the city of Barcelona, with some of the main villages that were the heart of the Catalan culture, and close to the city of Barcelona, our coast, with long sandy beaches that are close to the north and the south coast of Barcelona. Going to the south, we have Costa Daurada. Costa Daurada is, it was probably one of our emerging destinations during the 70s and 80s, and now developing great diversity because it's close to the area of vineyards of Priorat. Tarraco, the capital of this area, was the capital of the province of the Roman Empire, the Tarraconensis, and is plenty of Roman remains. Is a really particular cultural experience. And in the south, the area of Terres de l'Ebre, with a particular area for bird watching, one of the paradises for bird watchers all over the world. In the hinterland of Catalonia, the area of Terres de Lleida, that is close to the Pyrenees, and the Pyrenees with mountains from 3,000 meters height, and in the west part of the Pyrenees, Val d'Aran, that is the Occitan area of Catalonia, with a particular language. In Catalonia, our culture is millennial, and the language and the Occitan language, the Aranese language in this corner of our country, is one of the most ancient language and cultures in Europe. But what is Catalonia? Catalonia is probably a great mix about culture, about tradition, about landscape, about options to enjoy nature, and is a particular destination for all year round. In winter, with these options in 17 ski resorts in the Pyrenees. In spring, for example, celebrating our hinterland, that is plenty of green spaces and open spaces, particularly successful now in these pandemic times, because it's the area where this activity has been growing during this year. With a particular coast here, for example, in the picture, Cadaqués, that is not only one of the most beautiful villages in the coast in Catalonia, but at the same time is the village of Salvador Dalí, one of our geniuses in culture, in arts, and one of the most universal icons of the Catalan culture. And obviously in fall now, in this time, where the gastronomy opens the doors to the best and the most important flavors in our cuisines. After that, one of the main assets for Catalonia to become one of the main destinations in Europe is our diversity. Catalonia is a country of contrast. From the well order in the city of Barcelona, here you have a great vision of our Eixample, that is one of the areas of the city of Barcelona where the most important icons of our architect Antoni Gaudí are placed. Here, for example, in the center of the image, with the Sagrada Familia, but not far from here, the area of La Pedrera in Passeig de Gràcia is the scenario of some of the most important creators in terms of architecture and arts. From this part, this epicenter of our culture, that is Barcelona, to, for example, the area of this rugged coast that is, for example, the Costa Brava. Costa Brava, where the concentration of Michelin stars in our restaurants is one of the most important in the world after France, and with these particular landscapes, and offer a great experience in this coastline. The Pyrenees, there are a lot of people that doesn't know that Catalonia is a mountain destination as well. In fact, we have mountains from 3,000 meters high, and plenty of lakes, rivers, valleys, and with these alpine landscapes that seems we are particularly in Switzerland or in Austria or in Slovenia, for example. And one of the elements that is a distinction of our destinations is our landscapes in the hinterland that offers this particular vision with the vineyards, for example. Here close to the Montserrat mountain in the heart, in the center of Catalonia, not far from the city of Barcelona. Part of this, part of these landscapes, one of the elements that I think is the most important distinctive elements of our destinations is our culture. And part of our culture is obviously our gastronomy. The food and wine are some of the main reasons to visit Catalonia, and especially because Catalonia has a long tradition in gastronomy. In fact, Catalonia received the award of the first European region of gastronomy in 2017, and I think it's one of the reasons because Catalonia is so well positioned all over the world as a gastronomic destination. 65 restaurants awarded with Michelin stars, some of them recognized as the best restaurant in the world. For example, the restaurant El Bulli of Ferran Adrià or El Celler de Can Roca by the Roca brothers are authentic icons of our gastronomy, and some of the most visited destinations in terms of experience on cuisine in Catalonia. And it's because of our culture, it's because our tradition. Catalonia was visited by Greeks, Romans, Muslims, and all this culture, all these people offered us the opportunity to preserve different prints, different elements of these gastronomies that are now creating this particular vision of gastronomy. In fact, during the Middle Age, the Catalan cooks were the main cooks in the main king's cuisines in Europe, and that supposed that the influence of the Catalan cuisine was all over Europe. It's for this reason that one of the main elements we have in Catalonia is obviously our food, but not only our food, our wines. We have 12 denominations of origin with 12 different flavors of wine, depending on the different landscapes that we are living. Then you can visit Catalonia not only following a route and itinerary, but especially following the particular flavors of our chefs and of our wines. In terms of heritage, in terms of culture, thanks to these different visitors and these different cultures that had the opportunity to create our particular culture in Catalonia, we have this remains, for example, in Tarraco, this aqueduct close to the city of Tarragona, the aqueducta, is one of the main elements of the Roman culture in Catalonia. In the Pyrenees, for example, in Vall de Boí, close to some of the main ski resorts in Catalonia, this World Heritage by UNESCO, Vall de Boí, is the Romanesque art where the best elements are placed here in the Alta Ribagorça, in the Catalan Pyrenees. And obviously our positions in the Gothic art in Catalonia and in the modernism, the particular vision of the Art Nouveau that were celebrated during the first part of the 20th century. And obviously Antoni Gaudí is the main example of this modernism. But for example here, the Palau de la Música, the music palace in the city of Barcelona by Domènech i Montaner, is another one of the masterpieces. And not only the physical and the physical heritage. I think it's important to talk about the human heritage, the cultural, the immaterial cultural heritage we have in Catalonia. In this case, for example, the castellers, the human towers, probably one of the best ways to show how the Catalan people is working together, is developing activities, is creating, is celebrating. Today, for example, in Barcelona, I'm talking with you from Barcelona, but from an empty Barcelona, even when today is the main festival of the city of Barcelona, is the La Festa de la Mercè, but with a city that is really conscious about the situation, and obviously this kind of festivals are impossible now in this time. But it's one of the main demonstrations and the main ways to show what is Catalonia as a people, what is Catalonia as a community, what is Catalonia as a destination, and how can you enjoy the particular and vibrant evolution of the activities, of the social activities in our destinations. The Castellers, the human towers, and not only the Castellers are immaterial heritage, but as well the fallas in the Pyrenees, or other elements that are part, for example, of our cuisine, the Catalan cuisine. Is obviously at your disposal. We hope to have the opportunity to see you soon in Catalonia and to enjoy all these elements that are obviously for you. Thank you very much, Gerry.
Thank you, Patrick. And on behalf of the tourism industry, can we thank you? You have been responsible for the Barcelona Declaration, great places to live, great places to visit. And also being president of Nextdoor, you've led our thinking about the future of tourism. So thank you very much indeed on behalf of all of us. Right, we're now going to very quickly move on to a slightly different approach. I've invited 4 tourism experts to choose a destination from the book that they've never been to or that they would like to go to, having read the book. So I'm going to start with great friend of mine, Misha Novak, who's the founder of the Loch tourism organization. She formerly worked with Slovenian Tourist Board. But Misha, please, could you share with us your selection, your choice of a destination you would like to visit?
Thank you. Hello to all. Greetings from Slovenia, country from the book cover. Karmen from Slovenian Tourist Board, my colleague, has done an excellent job in presenting Slovenia. So there isn't much to add. So this will be my personal story, how I see inspiring destinations of the future. But before I disclose which destination has most inspired me, let me say why Slovenia is my true love, for what it has taught me. In Slovenia, we are raised from nursery onwards in the way that we live in contact with nature. We are taught that littering is really a horrific thing to do. We all have gardens. We put loads of flowers on our balconies. We are prepared to go on a trip over the weekend or during the weekend to get best local food from someone we trust. We spend, I would say, quite some time every day to cook real fresh food. In the countryside, we still leave our houses unlocked, and we take off shoes when we get home and when we go to visit our friends. We were all learned or taught to skiing, and going outdoors, I would say that even though you lead a hectic life, is still a must every day. So I would say that I'm somehow spoiled, and all these things matter to me when I travel. And there is one more thing that is really important to me when choosing destinations or traveling, and these are the people. Getting a feel how community really lives, what is important to them, what their lifestyles are like, how they value nature and heritage. And I would say that as I have matured as a person, and of course as a traveler, I feel so relaxed. I no longer have these needs to rush around from one place to another to see places, but I take time to feel them. So to me, a destination is more and more about the people, I would like to say, and the same is in businesses. I think we shouldn't be talking anymore about communicating or working business to business or business to customer or customer to customer, peer to peer, but age to age, human to human. So I want to visit destinations that give me a feeling as if they were a person. So a person, so I want to feel that I can trust them for what they do, that I can love them for who they are, and that I can admire them for what they stand for. And of course, because they are balanced and because they're well managed. So more and more I want to choose and know how they are managed, what they do to maintain this balance between visiting and living, what is being done for the environment to stay intact, where is the food sourced from, and so on. And when I looked at the book, Terry's book, which you were here, I loved this aspect about it, learning how they are managed, going more deeply. So there are many destinations I would like to travel to, but they're mostly in Europe, because more and more I want to explore and travel regionally, also beyond. But I chose one. I chose the Isle of Arran in Scotland. And I must admit, I might be a little bit partial. Namely, when I came to know Alistair Dobster, who is also with us and who is going to be the next speaker, I realized I just want to go and visit his island. Okay, the island he lives on. Because as a person, he has inspired me. I have been to Scotland at least 3 times. I have been to some of the islands. I just love the ambience, especially of the islands. But in Arran, through knowing Alistair, I love that I see that their approach to tourism is based upon a collaborative, concerted effort of a group of people who has, I would say, responsibility, vision, and very importantly, passion. And these are qualities I really consider important when I choose destinations I work with, the clients I work with. I expect destination and clients to have responsibility, vision, and passion when I work with them as a destination consultant or expert or aider. So these kind of destinations are, in my opinion, or to me personally, an example of intelligent luxury and destinations of the future. More or less, this is all from me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be with you today. And I would like to thank you, Terry, heartily from my heart, for this book and for inspiring us to travel more deeply and more responsibly. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Misha. As always, thank you. And all I hope now is that Alistair Dobson isn't going to say he wants to go to Slovenia. Otherwise, people will think I've been doing deals here. So Alistair, I don't know where you are on the screen, but can you join us? And we'd love to hear where you have selected to go as a result of reading the book.
Thank you very much, Terry, and thank you for such a wonderful book, which has been not just an inspiration, but a comfort as we've been locked down over the past 6 months to be able to travel virtually and be able to have an overview of what's happening in the world and to get some excitement to really get up and at it when the chance does come to travel again. And I think that's been a real strength for me, and I'm sure for others. So anyway, thank you for the introduction and allowing me to speak today. I do come from the lovely Isle of Arran, which is right behind me in the background here, and we're welcoming people back. It's great to see people because, as Misha says, it's all about people, and people come to Arran to relax, unwind, rejuvenate, have fun, and make some memories. And we like to give, our strapline is island time in no time, so we love to give people that island time. Everybody knows what an island is, and the time is more precious. And we like to do that in a little place that we call Scotland in miniature. And then a lot of this is about trying to deliver an island in balance. So we're really looking at responsible tourism, a balance between our community, our economy, and of course the environment. But that's probably enough about Aaron, because that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about this wonderful book and to identify a region or a destination I would go to. It has been wonderful working with Terry over the last 15 years. And as Peter says, and thanks for this opportunity, Peter, Terry has so much knowledge, but he's also great fun to be with. And if you can't have a smile working in tourism and hospitality, you probably shouldn't be doing it. Maybe look at doing something else. But Terry's been an inspiration to me. My company itself is Taste of Arran, so we're selling food and drink, not just around Arran, but across Scotland, the UK and internationally. And I think that always, the food and drink aspect of my business always drives my decisions, because I think great food and drink is made by great people and is enjoyed by great people all over the world. So working with Terry, I remember that emotional circle was always squared by food and drink. However, it's not around that. I had criteria to look at. I had to go to a place that I'd never been. And I also had to look at things. And the criteria for me is always around, when I'm working, I'm on holiday. I'm a lucky guy because I come from this wonderful place. However, the opposite is also true. When I'm on holiday, I'm always working, much to the annoyance of my family. I'm always looking at, would it be nice to stay here? What could we work at? What could we start? What could we do? Aren't they great people? What a wonderful place. Everything has to be about relaxing, exciting, engaging. It's all about the people, the personality, the place, and of course, great food and drink. I always like how small places can amplify their voice regionally and nationally. And that is something that I always like, looking at small places and how they amplify their voice. So I looked at countries first, because it was damn difficult, all 50 of these places, and I love the idea of a passport. I'm up for that. We've developed a couple of passports over the years, and we'd love to have a chat around that. So I looked at North America. I haven't been many times, but I haven't been to the destinations that are in the book between the US and Canada. I looked at Slovenia. I looked at Germany. Germany has a real draw to me there, Baden-Baden, some of the stuff that's going on there. Back to US, I'd love to go to Texas. Haven't been yet, but we're selling our ice cream there. Amazing. I want to go and see people in Texas eating Arran ice cream. I'd love to go to South Africa, Spain. I'd love to go to see the Marcus de Riscal place. It's my favourite red wine. There are many, but it's my favourite. Denmark I've been to, wonderful place, and of course Ireland. I couldn't get into that, and I wondered, the passion of the people that sold the destinations to me and to you in this call today is unbelievable. Willie, you're an absolute star, as is everybody else. But it is absolutely not stage managed. I had to look at a country first that grabbed my heart and grabbed my head. And I must say, Terry, there's been no deals done. However, I hope there will be in the future. I've got to pick Slovenia for sure, because it grabbed, and absolutely, this is not been stage managed. But when Misha said in her presentation, it's about people, it's about human to human, that is the new world. It's absolutely that. So don't get tied up with your product. You must have good product, but it's people is the big thing. So Misha and Karmen, well done. You sold it to me today, but you had sold it to me in the book already. So I didn't know where to go. I didn't know whether to go to the Social Valley with the great outdoors and adventure, the geology, and the very deep and meaningful history, or Ljubljana with its history, described as an ideal destination and development. It's innovation, it's gastronomy, and its attitude to sustainability. I'm always looking for that balanced approach. I had to fall to Bled and Bochen, because I love the way that small destinations work with a bigger metropolitan. I love the way that they keep their personality. I love the way they give a past a future and the future a past. Made in Bochen, made in Taste of Arran, it just resonates with me. They have a guest card, they have passion, they've got people. Transformation is key. sustainable, responsible tourism, the rural and the metropolitan, as I said, it is the future. There's no doubt about it. I wish I was in Bled and Bochen for sure. But I'd like to thank, that's my choice, and it was no stitch up, I promise you, but I really think that Terry's book has brought this to life. And Peter, thanks for publishing it. Terry, you're an inspiration to many, especially to me, and I look forward to visiting and stamping my passport at the 50 destinations in the book. And for all of you out there, go buy it and then we'll get the passport sorted. So thanks for the opportunity for this today, Terry, and good luck to everyone in their world.
Good. Thank you very much indeed, Alistair. I'm looking at time and I'm going to move swiftly on to India Thomason, who is a tourism marketeer from Somerset. She's a blogger, whatever that is, and she's currently advising the development of Hazelbury Mill down near my home area in Somerset. So India, please, can you join us and share with us your choice?
Hello everybody, my name's India and I live in Ilminster in Somerset, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be part of this incredible book. I'm a keen traveller and this book has created a huge bucket list of destinations that I would love to visit. After reading the book, I felt so eager to visit these wonderful destinations, but it also created a big desire to explore the county that I live in. Terry quotes that he may be being biased by including South Somerset because he was born in East Coker, but I don't feel that is the case. I feel that South Somerset is a real, true, strong contender. Somerset has stunning countrysides, green woodlands, beautiful lakes, and a wide range of landscapes and stunning environments. I think when you live somewhere, you can become complacent and you don't fully appreciate your surroundings. But the book has relit that fire and made me want to explore all of the locations that are listed right on my doorstep. We've got the River Parrett Trail, which is 37 miles long, which flows through Dorset and Somerset. And it is a fascinating trail. It's a fascinating journey through rolling hills, meadows, orchards, and passes through some of the beautiful Hamstone villages, market towns, and ancient historical sites that are mentioned in the book. I feel really inspired to walk the route and stop off at some of the wonderful places, including Burrow Hill Cider Farm. The farm sits among 180 acres of cider apple orchards and has been pressing cider for over 30 years. I experienced Burrow Hill at from the famous cider bus at Glastonbury Festival, but I feel desperate to go and explore the orchard and enjoy one of their tasting sessions. Another place in the book that's created a real desire for me to go to is the Newt in Bruton. The photos in the book just sold it instantly, and I was quite shocked that I haven't actually been there before. The Newt is a countryside estate with splendid gardens, woodlands, farmland, and it has a beautiful hotel, restaurant and spa with exquisite views of Somerset, and is now definitely on my bucket list of places that I'm going to be visiting very soon. There is also a place that's mentioned in the book which has a very close place in my heart, which is Hazelbury Mill. Hazelbury Mill is a restaurant, a rustic pub, a glamping site, hotel. Everyone that visits Hazelbury Mill instantly falls in love, and some even call it one of the most beautiful settings in the southwest of England. It has beautiful views of South Somerset countryside in a peaceful lakeside, river and garden location. And the buildings date back many centuries and are of great local interest in with the local history stretching right back to William the Conqueror. In 2008, they built the Tide Barn, which is actually featured in the book. On approaching the barn, you see its impressive structure built from hamstone, and it's absolutely breathtaking. There's so many beautiful places listed in South Somerset, and it's made me feel very lucky to live in such a beautiful location with so many hidden gems. And with travelling being somewhat difficult at the moment, it's given me even more reason to explore the county that I live in. But thank you very much for having me on the launch, Terry. It's fabulous.
Well done. Thank you, India. And you've put into real words what the Prime Minister of New Zealand said recently, was that COVID gives us all the awesome opportunity to explore our own patch. And I think, Willie was reflecting that, Alistair, all our speakers are encouraging us to go elsewhere, but let's not forget that domestic tourism is important, and we do have that wonderful opportunity to explore our local area, or as they say in Wales, our Villetier Square. So finally, Lars Olsen, project manager of a new destination for Southwest Jutland in Denmark. Lars, where are you going to take us?
Well, I'm going to take you some further north. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, we can all hear you.
Great, thank you. Yeah, well, I will take you some further north. But first of all, I'll introduce a little bit about my thinking. And thank you very much, Terry, to invite me to choose a destination. I'm from Esbjerg. I'm living in Esbjerg, and I'm next to a wonderful island, not the Isle of Arran, but the Isle of Fanø. And you can look into page 92 in Terry's excellent book if you want to learn more about Fanø. Anyway, looking into myself and into the midst of this COVID, I can say I was a world traveler of yesterday. Now I want to be the local traveler of tomorrow, meaning visiting a destination to be reached not by flying, a destination that is focusing on sustainability, being authentic, have a long history and a lot of culture, good food based on local produce, and easy access to nature. And I want to be a temporary local. I love the cooler summer in the north, overlooking the sea, enjoying the sunset, and nipping to a gin tonic is also prioritized when I'm traveling. Inspired by your book, my choice of destination will be Turku in the southwest of Finland. It seems like a great place to visit as a tourist and to be inspired by as a destination manager. To be sustainable, I will travel by train to Stockholm in Sweden, with a quick train change in Copenhagen. And from Stockholm, I have several options by ferry to Turku. Altogether, a 16-hour journey, including a good night's sleep on the ferry. I will investigate the transformation of the city that took place in 2011, when Turku, together with Tallinn, was European capital of culture. Old industrial buildings in the harbor area was transformed into concert halls, venues, shopping, bars, and restaurants. Turku is an all-year-round destination with a medieval market, music festivals, the diversity of the museums, the sea and nature surrounding the city, and Turku being Finland's official Christmas city, attracting special interest tourism all year round. In Turku, you can visit the book house if you need creativity training or a writing course. The new Performance Turku Festival is a way to get to know the fascinating world of performance art. Turku could be called the Finnish Hollywood, considering the number of movies filmed in the city. And what better way to live up to that name than by organizing an event where the entire city turns into a cinema. Talking about dining, Turku is the food capital of Finland, where the freshest ingredients and local produce meet the most modern kitchen of Scandinavia. But all this has not emerged by itself. As in other destinations, it's all about management. Turku is my Paris, Tallinn and Stockholm rolled into it. And as Anne-Margrethe Helene, the CEO of Turku Touring, expressed it. For her, Turku and tourism development is like style, fashion, and design. What a brilliant way of defining whatever destination. Especially, I'm inspired by the way Turku gives visitors a real-life, authentic, unique experience by involving the locals. It's organized by the group Dots that helps travelers find real-life experiences, the locals, delivered by locals, sharing their insights and passions. More than 50 locals can offer you an experience, and here is a few examples. See if it works. Put up. Yep. You can learn nature photography, You can write and record your own song. You can bake in bread. What about beer tasting? Local home, local life, an aerial hoop. And what about sailing? You can be involved by the locals. You can even wander with goats in the forest, where you hear stories about Turku, Finnish traditions and beliefs. Or what about visit Granny's place, where you can enjoy the clean and green countryside, collect wild berries, have a relaxing experience of the Finnish sauna, and make and taste local wild food. In Granny's place and in Turku, the visitor becomes a temporary local. So see if I can get back to you. So here it goes. Oops, sorry. Turku is a city that you could easily call a hidden treasure. Far too small to be known for its size, far too remote to be known for its central location, but still a city with the soul of true metropolitan. I will not wish you were in Turku. I would rather use the brave marketing concept of Turku by saying, wish I soon could be kissing my Turku. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you very much indeed. I'm very conscious of time, and I'm going to thank all of our speakers and all of our guests for being with us this morning, and hand you back to Peter Gill, who's just going to say a few final words. But from my heart, thank you very much indeed. Peter, over to you.
Thank you everyone, and thank all the speakers individually. Brilliant presentation, enjoyed it enormously. And if I had a choice, I'd go to all of these places, I think, but there we are. Well, I've got a piece of news that's just broken, actually. That many people know that in 2019, Terry was awarded the Lux Life Global Award as the Best Tourism Destination Expert. Well, today it's been confirmed that Terry has been awarded this accolade for 2020 for services to destination development and support to the tourism industry during the pandemic, as part of the 2020 Resorts and Retreats Global Award by Lux Magazine. So well done, Terry. I mean, that's, 2 years in a row, that's brilliant. So the book is available through our website. And we'll be emailing everyone a code today after this event. And for those in the UK and I think Europe, it'll be post and packing free. And for those outside of Europe, in zones 1, 2, and 3, we'll be subsidizing the postage, particularly to places North America and New Zealand and so forth. So that's our contribution really for thanking everyone who's attended today. And if you want more than one copy, please get in touch. And feel free to hand the code to others as you wish. So from everybody at Graffeg Publishing, thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you, Terry, for the most brilliant book. Maybe the first in a series, but we'll have to see on that. And of course, the ebook is available for those people who can't get to our website and need it right away. It's available on Apple Books, it's available on Kindle, and about 10 or 12 other platforms, and it's also available on library platforms as well. So it's out there. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much indeed.
Terry, if you don't...
And let's look forward to a time when we can all get back traveling. So thank you all very, very much indeed. Diolch yn fawr iawn I chi gyd.
Terry, before you go, I think I would like to add my congratulations and thanks from all the destinations that you've been helping off your own back during this pandemic, and also allowing them to keep their places safe and the infrastructure in place to welcome tourists back and to keep their communities thriving and surviving. So thanks from the bottom of my heart, Terry, and I'm sure I speak for everyone.
Thank you very much indeed. Now, I've had enough accolades, and just go ahead and buy the book. Thank you very much indeed. Take care, everyone.